Alexandra Patsavas is the music supervisor of Bridgerton. She's also worked on a variety of television and films, including the Twilight series, Grey's Anatomy. I'm Tony Ruiz of Gold Derby, and Alex, I think still to this day, a lot of people aren't quite sure what the difference between music composer and music supervisor. Can you explain for people who maybe don't understand that difference what it is?
Absolutely. I've been a music supervisor now since the mid '90s, so hopefully I can give you a succinct and accurate answer about that. A composer creates and writes and performs the underscore. A music supervisor is hired to really contemplate the sound of the show with the showrunner. So selects and clears original songs, perhaps talks about what the score will be with the showrunner. Music supervisors are also involved in any sort of on-camera performances. If a character is humming on camera, if they're singing something on camera. So we're really there to define the sound of the music and work alongside our other creative partners, the production designer, the editor, the cinematographer, and the costumer to bring the showrunner's vision to life.
I would imagine that Bridgerton itself poses a very unique challenge in that it is a period piece, but it is also a period piece full of anachronisms and bringing this kind of modern musical sensibility to what is a period piece. So where do you even begin with a project like this?
Well, at the beginning. It's such a good question. You're absolutely right. It is very interesting to think about making sure that the musical character of Bridgerton is inviting, is contemporary, but it is fitting for the period. So I started with the very first script and went into Shondaland to talk music with Chris Van Dusen, with Shonda Rhimes, with Betsy Beers, and to talk about what would the music be. As you mentioned, I've been working as a supervisor before Bridgerton, and I've been lucky enough to work on all the Shondaland projects. And so this process was something that we did for Scandal, for Grey's Anatomy. And I think that the idea of covers, of instrumentals, of current iconic pop songs was something that we talked about before the first episode was shot. But it's really in the post and editing process that process really comes to life, and we can try different things and see if that idea worked. But we talked about it, at the script stage.
So when you're looking at those scripts, I'm thinking of, say, something like Billie Eilish's Bad Guy, which really became, for me, it was one of the standout pieces of the show, because one of the brilliant things about the show is that you hear these pieces and it's almost like your ear goes, wait, is that what I think it is? So when you're looking at the script, what's your thought process going into it in terms of choosing a song?
I mean, in that case, I did not have that song in mind at the script stage. But something I did think about, and I know I talked to Chris Van Dusen about, and was that sort of wink with the music, that you would know that the audience would understand that they recognize this enormous, popular, wonderful song, hear the lyrics in their head, perhaps not actually hear it, hear it sung out loud, but the lyrics would be fitting, and that there'd be a recognition. Would it be one bar? Would it be 3 bars? Whatever that would be. That sort of that contemporary cover would be inviting to the audience.
I wonder is it something that you set out to do to really pick super modern popular songs? Was there ever a discussion of, taking songs from other eras and working them in here, other recognizable songs, or was it always just going to be the kind of this modern pop influence?
I mean, we did use a lot of period, a lot of classical, time period, historically accurate pieces in Bridgerton. But as far as the modern covers, I think it was part of part of why they work so well was that they are modern, that there was a Shawn Mendes or an Ariana Grande or a Billie Eilish, and that they were current and extremely accessible and recognizable to the fans.
Did you have any expectation, because I read somewhere that the streaming for these songs went up something like 350%?
Yeah.
What did you think when you started seeing those types of numbers?
I mean, as a music supervisor, that's always one of the most, it's so satisfying. Obviously our first intention, the most important thing as a supervisor is to really support the drama and to support the program. But as I don't think there's any music supervisors that are not huge music fans. We get into it because we're music people. To see that kind of uptick for such an interesting group, Vitamin String, for instance, I think is the article you read. I think it was in Billboard. They do great work there, and it's super rewarding to understand that they have new fans as a result of Bridgerton.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about them, about Vitamin String, because they have such a unique sound. It's both incredibly classical and yet has this modern feel. How did you discover them?
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember. I feel like I've known about them for some time, and there's something just so interesting about an orchestral version. It's a string instrument is the closest thing to a human voice. I really think those kinds of performances can be so exquisite and so emotional. And I've been a fan for some time. So, but I wish I remembered the moment, but I don't.
I'm curious, what is your working relationship, say, with somebody like Chris Bowers, who's the composer of the show? Do you guys work together in any capacity?
We do work together. We're alongside the music editor. We're the music team, and so we spend a lot of time together. It was very interesting. Of course, this year was 2020 was different than any other year as far as how a show got put together, how a series would get into post production and then launch. And we went through I hope you're editing this a little bit.
No, it's fine. You're doing fine.
I hope you're doing some editing. Near the end of the production process, after the series is shot and the editors spend so much time crafting each episode, we have something called a spotting session, and the producers and composer and picture editor and sound team, sort of the entire post team, get together. And we used to get together in a cutting room in a bay and all cram into a room and view the episode and talk through, do we love this song that's currently in the cut? And that's when we really talk through what the music is specifically for that episode. And this was my first experience of being in that room this way, in a Zoom room, and we watching the cut on one's computer and having those discussions. And Chris had an enormous task, and he's so talented. It is he's so talented. And his task, of course, was his score is comprised of you know, a lot of live instruments, a lot of orchestrating, and the lift he had to um, the lift he had to make to do that in COVID was quite remarkable. Because, of course, you know, playing an instrument is one of the most dangerous things you can do.
I know it's one of my big regrets is I never learned how to do it. Um, I'm curious, are there any, was there ever a moment during this production of this first season where a song came late in the process or an idea suddenly came that you hadn't had before?
I mean, we definitely tried a lot of things in post. You know, obviously, any of the elements that are tied to picture, if you're singing on camera, those are contemplated and decided on, you know, in the pre-production phase, and really, but we definitely played a lot with the music and the balls. I think in the old days, I would call it a compilation, but I sent down many tracks in pre-production, during production, and in post, and we tried, you know, many songs. One of the songs I know that was selected in post was Taylor Swift's cover, and that was really exciting that she granted us permission to use her cover.
Looking ahead to season two, have you started the process yet? Without giving anything away, have you started the process of looking at season two yet?
Season two is just getting started, so it's in its infancy.
Why do you think? I mean, this show again clearly has hit a nerve with the public, and that's evident not just in the viewership numbers, but the music being so intimately connected to it. It's so intricate. Why do you think that the show has had the reaction that it's had?
I just think it's so good. It's like it's just, you know, it's entertaining, it's cheeky, it's uplifting, and I think, you know, I loved the scripts. I was really excited to work on it, and I was even more excited when it came to life and I started seeing footage. Beautiful costumes. You know, this was a wonderful project to be a part of.
Well, it certainly does not work without the music. Everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the Emmys, and stay tuned for more interviews with contenders throughout the season. Alex Patsavas, music supervisor of Bridgerton, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.